up on maybe twice after the actual game. I mean, they're just going to add, like, the core structure of the game is done as they've been releasing, but they're just going to be added maps. Of course, we're going to see DLC for this, weapons, customization options. But, I mean, right now, it's the core game that's, which is kind of setting people off and getting people interested. I mean, what do we think of the core game itself?
I mean, like, I was playing it on consoles, 360 more specifically, and, I was initially, like, sort of uninterested, and I was planning on going to the show just
I had to force you to play it.
Yeah, like, it really wasn't going to click with me. But, like, I later went back, and I saw Rans was online, so I decided to jump in with him, and then it, like, sort of, like, changed my opinions in a lot of ways, like, because I realized this game is so much more fun when you actually have, like...
It's like a buddy game sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like Rams was playing the medic, and like I would play like the engineer, and like there was actually one sequence where like I went in this corner, and there were 3 different snipers who knew exactly where I was, and they kept sniping me. But then he would like pop out and heal me, and I would just keep dying. I think I died like 7 times before like I actually got through that area.
Oh,
but
God.
I still think I managed to level up after that somehow. But, yeah, I definitely find that this game is more fun when you play with your friends. But my biggest problem with Battlefield is the same problem I've had with every other Battlefield that I've really dug into. And that I think it's like its greatest strength is also its greatest weakness. Because flying in that game is so much fun.
But those goddamn bastards in helicopters kept shooting me down. Like, I was just on the ground, minding my own business, and then just like little mini helicopter comes out of nowhere and just like strafing run and just blows the hell.
Exactly. So like when you make it so much fun to be in the helicopter, like nobody wants to be on the ground anymore. It's so cool. Like
the blatant lack of anti-helicopter weapons available to the players. There's only one thing I found, which are the Dragon radar-guided missile launchers, which are only mounted in certain locations.
Yeah.
Like the Engineer RPG, there's no way in hell you're gonna hit that.
Yeah, I tried a couple times.
You might as well point straight up into the air, cover your eyes, and fire blindly.
But
just hope you hit it.
The problem is, it's like they made flying so much fun that when you see like the attack helicopter finally spawns, you have like 8 people waiting at the spawn, like waiting to get onto the helicopter.
That's an issue.
And then like after the people fight to get onto it, people are just waiting at the spot until either that person crashes or like it gets shot down somehow. So like this happened in previous Battlefield games. It always happens, and I'm part of the problem because I love flying in that game. It's so good. But like honestly, if they didn't have, if the friendly fire was on in that game, I think it would be like one of the worst like experiences ever. Like there would just be massive bodies lined up around the helipads.
Oh Lord.
So like that's I mean, it's a lot of fun. If you play it with some friends online, it's like infinitely more fun. But Battlefield, they still haven't remedied the situation. Like, it's so much fun to fly, but it's not fun when you're watching other people fly.
What's the does anyone else have this problem? When I was playing, I had a real hard time telling who was on my team and who was not.
The markers need to be much more clearly indicated. I mean, not so much like your team versus enemy team, but just what's going on. Because some teams are blue, some team members are blue, some team members are green.
Well, that's your squad members and your non-squad
members.
Yeah, but
no one tells you that.
Well, now, granted, it is the beta, and a lot's left up to like, okay, look, here's gameplay, you can figure this out. But like, I had serious problems telling who was on my team. I was like in Call of Duty, very obvious who's on your team. But in games like this,
well, that's because a red name appears above them when you point.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, like I was a little surprised there's like no name really that like appears over the enemy players.
Well, I kind of like that because it's not as easy to just flush someone out. Because if you know someone's hiding in an area, you just sweep your crosshairs back and forth. When a red name pops up, you're like, oh, there you are. Boom, boom, boom.
True, but I mean, I didn't run into the problems with the whole like blue and green names and not being able to tell who's on my team. I mean, like I was playing with Rans and it was like I could see his name in green and everything because he was on my team and stuff, and then I could see all my fellow team members that I wasn't really talking to running around the battlefield with blue names above them. But I didn't have any problems with that.
Well, what I think also too, it may just be the map we were on because blue names on a white and blue background doesn't exactly stand out very well. But
it was kind of difficult for me. I think that like there's a little bit of a learning curve that has to be done, but I mean, some people were saying the controls were really strange. I didn't really feel that as much.
Well, they're
I mean, I remember sitting there next to Twisted. I'm like, how do I crouch? He's like, right thumbstick, left thumbstick in, or whatever it was. And I was like, what? And I hit him like very shot in the face. I'm like, oh, God.
it's a little tweaked version of like the Havoc engine that you get from the Call of Duty franchise and such. Because like 10 just said, with right analog stick in, normally in the Call of Duty is knife, but now it's crouch sort of thing.
I have that problem too.
Oh, yeah, melee is like, on the PlayStation, melee is like square.
I think so.
I feel like whenever you start, like, you follow a lot of the same controls that, like, a major franchise like a Call of Duty or a Halo have. Like, every little change that you do totally throws the player off because they're so ingrained, like, oh, this does this, and then this does what? So, yeah. I mean, I did run into that issue, but overall I'd say I've played a lot of the older Battlefields and some of the early ones that went to consoles, and I'd say, like, with the Bad Company games, they definitely did a better job of... It was more of a PC experience, but with the Bad Company games, they actually translated it well to consoles. It actually feels like it could be a console game, you know?
I think as this game comes into its own, all these things would be, like all these control things will become, okay, it's like, okay, this is the way Battlefield does it, and as I play it, I get it, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, how there's like 2 weapon switches, like you weapon switch between your handgun and machine gun, and then there's like your specialty things, like the engineer has the RPG and the drill wrench thing. So, like, and you have
that has a soccer ball or something.
Yeah, some bizarre. Yeah, I mean, but I think as it comes to, I mean, even like something like that, like, why do I have 2 weapon switches? Why not just do it all in one shot? Well, I kind of understand that now, because as I play it, you know, the RPG and the drill thing are kind of like special things for, like, vehicles, dealing with vehicles, one for enemy vehicles, one for friendly, and then you have your attacking for enemy personnel. I don't know. It just makes more sense. And I think as the game comes into its own, it's like, oh, this is the way Battlefield's going to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so we should talk about what I've been looking forward to all week, and it took me all the way up until last night to come up with it, our most anticipated games of 2010.
Gamma Station, this is Fermi at RSO. Unconfirmed report of an in-system slit space rupture.
Impossible. Check your source.
Reading multiple pings below the orbital defense grid.
Oh, this can't be happening.
There's no mistake. It's them. Winter contingency has been declared. All units are mobilized and ready.
This is Sierra 320, prep for combat insertion.
What the hell was that? We're coming in hot. Hold on. We just lost our bird.
Oh my God. What the hell is happening down there?
People down here.
Getting just dropped off my map.
Overrun. We'll hold this position as long as we can. I need you in that fight, Noble One. Noble One, come in. Noble One, do you read me?
This is Sierra 259. You got Spartans on the ground, sir. We're not going anywhere.
And I remember I was sitting up, I was late last night, and after I came back and I was sitting in my bed, I was writing down, finalizing my notes, and I could not decide. And I know what you're going to say, and you might as well start. I was going to say Halo Reach, now because honestly I'm so excited for that game, and I'm like, you know, Chief's going to say it, but I was like, you know what? But this is still one of my favorites. But let's talk about Halo Reach first.
All right, you guessed it.
Surprise!
Surprisingly, Chief actually is anticipating Halo Reach. Yeah, I am just freaking out every time I get any little tidbit of information about this game. They recently announced at X10 that the beta will be on May 3rd, and I am so pumped for that. I already have my ODST, and I think I might actually, you know, I know some people who don't have ODST yet, and then I might, like, coax them into getting it by, like, you know, telling them about this beta, maybe play some Firefight until then. But, oh my god, I mean, the game looks beautiful, the character models are significantly improved.
And you know what they did? They brought in a new group to help them with their character models. I have it written down here somewhere. They bring in image metrics to work on the facial animations and things like that. And everyone,
well, I think they did a good job.
And if anyone remembers image metrics from, I believe it was 2008, from that demo they did with Emily or something like that. Anyway, some really impressive facial animation stuff is the gist of it. It was like the Milo of 2008.
Yeah.